Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Well, hello and welcome to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina and I have been hanging out on my sofa just a little bit today. I've been updating you guys on some of our vlogs, and now I wanted to be able to jump in and share with you some of my top sofa tips. These are mistakes that I've made myself, other designers make. Everybody can make them. They're easy to make, but they're also easy to avoid. And I wanted to just give you lots of ideas to really empower you, not only whether you're shopping for a sofa, but also how you dress it. So I hope that today is gonna just inspire you and get you really juiced up to go and enjoy your home, decorate it, make it that safe haven and that place that you just love to come back to every single day. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss out on the upcoming videos. We've got a lot prepared and I can't wait to share them with you. So make sure you hit subscribe and give the video a thumbs up, and let's jump into sofa mistakes. Let's start with some of the mistakes that you make before you have actually got your sofa. So one of the biggest things that, well, gosh, I guess, well, let's try to fix this even if you have done this mistake. Okay, so the biggest mistake that I see people making a lot of times is that they buy the wrong scale. Did you guys see the video where we showed you, I'll leave a link down below, where I showed you this room with a sectional in it. And I loved getting to show that video to you because it really gave such a nice visual for, I mean, how often do people get to have multiple sofas coming in and out of their house? This isn't something that most people would get to do, right? But I thought that it would be really helpful for you to see how the room looks with a completely different configuration. Scale really is important. People tend to buy sofas that are too big. I think that is usually the error that most people make. Most people want to just buy a big sectional. A lot of times they're trying to save money and buy it from somewhere, and they just buy whatever's available, and they really haven't measured out the room as best as they possibly can and really thought about preserving areas to really move about the space. Buying the right scale will help your room to feel like it's in proportion to itself. So it's not just about preserving areas to actually walk through, because that's definitely important. I like to have at least 36 inches as walkways. Anywhere that's going to be a natural path, there needs to be a nice walkway. But you also need space around your coffee tables and all those different things. So a lot of times people just buy the wrong scale. So when you think about scale, think about not just the size of the furniture itself, but also the height of the furniture, the walkways, and the way in which you actually want to enjoy the space. So if you've bought a sofa and if you bought a sectional, for instance, or sofa that's just overwhelming the space, there's some things that you can do that can help the space to feel a little bit more in scale. You can put some furniture in place that will help soften the feeling of your big sectional, for instance. So I absolutely love to use console tables to break up the feeling of a really big piece of furniture. They work like magic. They really do. They really help the space to feel a little bit more divided, and they help to soften it. And if I don't have space for a console table, what I'll do is I'll put a pretty blanket over the back of the sofa and a basket, because it'll really just kind of soften the space, and it softens the size and the scale of the space. Now, if you went a little too small, you may want to do the exact opposite. Put bigger pillows on the sofa, size up on those things. Maybe add some more furniture to the room. You might need an extra chair. You might need a bigger coffee table. You might want to upsize everything else. Maybe add 2 chairs to the space if you just don't have enough furniture to really fill it out. But either way, these are things that you can easily overcome, but with just some quick and simple things. It doesn't mean that you have to go buy new furniture, but if you are gonna buy furniture, just make sure that you measure twice. And yeah, you don't have to cut. So that's the saying, isn't it? Measure twice and only cut once. You don't have to cut at all. Just measure twice and then order your furniture. I wanted to take just a moment and thank our video sponsor for today, which is Squarespace. We absolutely love Squarespace. They are amazing. We've been using Squarespace for absolutely years. It's how we launched our own blog and our own website. It's how we have a shop. It's been incredible. Squarespace makes it so easy to launch your online home, and I just just really believe that this is something that we all just need. And we say, this is my home, this is what I'm about, whether it's a portfolio, whether it's a blog, whether it's just a website, it's a place to communicate with your friends and your family. It can be so many different things. And that's why I've always loved Squarespace, because they make it so simple. There's a template for every kind of way that you would want to use it. It's great if you want to use it for business, because there's all kinds of business platforms, and there's also lots of self-help in there. There's communities where you can ask questions and learn and grow. If you're thinking about launching online, I've got a link from Squarespace to get you started. So go to squarespace.com, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/House of Valentina to save 10% off of a new website or domain. I think you guys are gonna absolutely love it. I really think there's a lot of value in it for your business and your personal life, and it's something that's really enhanced my life because, of course, it's helped me to get to know so many of you, and I think that is amazing. So make sure you check out all the links down below. I'll have it in the show notes for you. Buying the wrong fabric is one of the biggest mistakes that I hear people speak woe over. It's the thing that they're most upset about, is that they bought a fabric that isn't kid friendly, they bought a fabric that isn't pet friendly, they bought a fabric that isn't holding up to just regular wear and tear. There's a few ways that you can fix this. So a lot of people ask me, do I really have white sofas with kids and a dog? And yes, it's me that does all the spilling. I've literally spilled coffee on these beautiful white sofas. But you know what? The great thing about these sofas, and these are from Article, and I'll leave the link down below for you guys, the stains come out because they are a performance fabric. And so buying the right fabric is a really big deal. And there's a few things that you have to consider when you go to buy a sofa. And if you're gonna be maybe reupholstering one, or even just a chair that you have in the space, there's a few things that you have to think about. There's a lot of different aspects of how well your fabric will actually perform. So part of it is the actual weave of the fabric. So one of the things that I try to think through, especially if a family has pets, do they have a dog that maybe has like claws that might get caught in it? Do they have a lot of fur on them that it's gonna be hard when you're constantly, vacuuming up your sofa, and it's gonna put a lot of wear and tear on the fabric. We talk through fabrics like leather that are more durable at times, but they might also get scratches. A lot of people with cats say that they prefer velvets, but then you also have the rub count to think about. Every fabric has a rub count, and if you look at places, I really like to look at places like West Elm and Pottery Barn are two really good solid sites. If you're really wanting to learn about the whole idea of rub count, and you're wanting to find a sofa that's in a mid-range, that still has some of the best quality for the price, I think that those are the two places that I go to the most often, because I feel like it's gonna be the best recommendation that I can give to my clients. And my goal as a designer is to make sure that I recommend things that are going to enhance their home, and they're gonna use them for years to come. I find that a lot of times one of the biggest struggles that people have is that they buy the wrong amount of furniture. They either buy way too much or they buy way too little. And a lot of this comes down to really understanding your personal style. This is really, really important. A couple videos ago, we talked about finding your style, having a color palette, understanding what your dream vision for your space is, and it's really important. I love the videos on Schumacher's channel. It's a designer brand that makes the most amazing fabrics, and they've got all these great interviews on their channel, and I'll leave a link for that as well. It's on YouTube. And one of the designers was saying, don't buy lots of big furniture if you have a big room. Buy lots of little furniture and break it down into spaces. And I thought, that's so funny, because I would say the exact opposite. And that there's no wrong answer. And I just wish that people would give that information out more than anything else, because if you love cozy little spaces, if you love traditional design, if you love to have lots of furniture in spaces, and you like lots of pattern and things going on, you're not gonna enjoy being in a house like mine. I like things that are a little bit more clean lined. I like them more simple. I like having bigger sofas so there's less things in the room, and it's all driven by your personality. quality. So I would say that if you're really not sure about your style, check out my interior design playlist. It's totally binge worthy. Forget Netflix. You can binge the interior design playlist on the House of Valentina because it's loaded with tips and tricks about how to understand yourself, your style, and what you really want. And when you know that, it'll make it a lot easier to make decisions about how much furniture based off of the needs that you have, how you want to entertain, your daily needs. I have a little chair that sits over here and it's just perfect. But I also have some extra furniture around the house that I'm able to bring in because I like to have big gatherings. And so I created a space that just works for me and my home and my family and my life. And that is way more helpful than just buying a set at maybe Haverty's or Rooms to Go and it came as a set of 5 and so you said yes to the set. You really have to think through what you really want and make sure that what you're buying really fits your space. And if you've made this mistake, maybe you could take some things out of the space if you've got too many in there and clear a little bit of space out and see how it feels. And if you feel like maybe you need a little bit more furniture, maybe if you have another piece of furniture already in your house, I do that all the time if I'm thinking through an idea. I had this set up at one point with a lot more furniture and I just borrowed from around the house. That way I could just play with it. And then I could see, this isn't me. It doesn't feel like me. And I would never want that other designer that loves lots of furniture, I would never want her to feel like she had to be like me. I want you guys to feel empowered to create spaces that you love and that you're excited to live in. That's the most important thing. Buying low quality is probably one of the biggest mistakes that so many of us sometimes you just don't have the money to spend. It's just the honest truth. We've had a lot of very inexpensive sofas over the years. I've always tried to buy the highest quality that I could afford. And I bought a sofa from American Signature Home when we got our very first home, and I had almost no money and I spent $500 on the sofa. But you know what? That was such a high quality piece. It was the best quality. My mom took it when we moved overseas and it's been in the family for, almost 20 years. It was just such a great sofa. It had the down in it, the stitching was made really well. It was just a gorgeous sofa. So price wasn't the most important thing necessarily. Trying to find and really get an eye for quality is super important. So the things that I'm looking for how close the stitching is. I'm like looking down on the arm because that's the kind of stuff that I'm gonna be looking for. I wanna see what the stitching looks like. I wanna feel that fabric. I'm looking at that rub count. I'm looking at the longevity of what I've got. I'm looking at the legs. Are they sturdy? A lot of times, even for residential projects, I like to buy contract grade furniture because it's meant to be sat on in a commercial setting over and over and over and over and over. That furniture is meant to be sat on by all different types of people over and over. It's meant to be rubbed with all different fabrics. And so a lot of times I will recommend a contract grade fabric and a contract grade piece because I'm infinitely more likely to buy something that's higher quality. I think that a lot of people buy something because it feels safe. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm definitely one of those people that tends to go pretty classic on the furnishings. I'm a little guilty of that even as a designer because I wanna give people something that has longevity. If you buy a classic piece, I think that a lot of times you end up with something that lasts you for years. These sofas, they were a risk for me though. They are not as classic as the Tallulah that I bought from Pottery Barn. They're not as classic as the Marin sofa, the sectional that I bought for my sunroom. These were edgy. They were so risky. They've got this low back and they've got like the little rounded arms on them. They've got metal legs and the bench seating with no back oh, this was such a risk for me. I think sometimes it can be a mistake to be either way too risky and just buy whatever's on trend and it's here today and it's gone tomorrow and it was just way too trendy. Sometimes people will just err on the side of buying whatever it is that they've always bought. They'll buy a khaki colored fabric for the sofa because that's what they've had and they know it just lasts. you can take a little bit more risk. You might want to go with a lighter fabric, or maybe you want to go with a darker fabric. Maybe you want to try leather and you've never tried that before. Maybe you want to try a velvet sofa. I think that you can take some risks. And if you've purchased something that feels a little bit safe, some of the things that you could do is that you can mix up the pillows. Take the pillows off the back of the sofa and mix them up with something new. These are very inexpensive ones from, I've got these from Amazon, both of these, the little boucle. Maybe just mix up those fabrics. If you've played it safe with the fabrics that you bought it with, maybe a great blanket, mixing up the coffee table or what you put on the coffee table, mix that room up and don't worry about it, because it's not the end of the world. This is something that you can really fix, and it's something that you can create a new style around, and you can take that classic piece, put something modern with it, you can see here where I've got this sculptural kind of dough bowl, and I play a lot with the space and I mix it up. So if you want lots of ideas, again, go to that interior design playlist. You can also look at the Steal Her Stylist, where I talk about a lot of styling and how to really style your space and give you lots and lots of ideas. Speaking of pillows, let's talk about one other last mistake, and then I'm gonna share with you some of my favorite sofas that I think you guys will really enjoy. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make, and it really ties into this last one that we were talking about, is that people use the cushions that came with the sofa. So sometimes it's easier to use the ones that come with the sofa if they're the back ones. A lot of times if you've bought a sofa with maybe from Costco or Rooms to Go or Haverty's, a lot of times they'll come with cushions as well that maybe don't even match the sofa. It's just a coordinating pattern. Take those off, mix it up. Mix it up by seasons. Shop my list. I've got a ton on Amazon. I show you lots of great options there. Just want to switch things up. Your pillows are one of the easiest ways to do that. Okay, so I promised you before that I was going to give you guys a few recommendations for the sofas that I have recommended to my clients and that I own in my own home. And I want to give you guys some links. And I'm going to give you a PDF that you can also shop through. And I'll give you my top picks for the companies that I order from the most that are mid-range, because I think this is where you guys most want it. I understand that if you have a limitless budget, we can order anything from all these amazing companies. And I do that for my clients all the time. We custom order everything. But if you're looking for a mid-range product, there's some great products out there and my clients have been very pleased with. Pottery Barn is one of my favorite places to shop. If you have the money for RH, I do absolutely love their sofas. There's hardly one that I wouldn't buy myself. I think they're gorgeous, but price is a big issue. So if you love a modern, clean line, Pottery Barn has a couple that are really popular and quite a few of my clients have purchased. The Dream Square Arm. That is so pretty. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. A lot of these come to where you can get a bench seat instead of the three pillows. I love a bench. I love a really clean line. So you can really customize these. They really are fairly customizable and they're really going to keep you on a budget. So Dream Square Arm, I haven't ordered that one yet, but I am eyeing it. The one that I have ordered and my clients have absolutely loved is the Big Sur Square Arm. That sofa is stunning. I love the bench seating. I love the different configurations. The fabrics are amazing. I know that a lot of people err on the side of the Pierce roll arm, but it's just not one that I personally just really love. They did come out with the caramel square arm, and I just love a square arm. I just think that it's really beautiful. You can put some cushions against it if you want to lean on it. I just love a square arm. I think it could end up being an extra seat, and if somebody just wants to be able to sit down on the arm, and I love it. Those are the ones that I would definitely recommend from Pottery Barn. So let's talk about West Elm for just a moment, because I have two sofas from West Elm. I have the Axle in black leather, and I am telling you, that thing is so well made. It is exquisite, especially for the price. Now, not that it's cheap, because none of these things are cheap. I know, they're not cheap. They are an investment. The sofa is always gonna be an investment, but I can tell you that these are ones that will really hold up. That Axle in leather is exquisite. I absolutely love it. I've owned it now for years. At the moment, it's downstairs waiting for us to finish out the basement and create an area down there, but it looks brand new. It doesn't even look like anybody's even sat on it, and I've had it for years. And we've used it exclusively for a very long time, and it just holds up. It is quite firm, I will tell you that. It's very firm. I felt like I kept telling Landon he could actually jump on it to tenderize it a little bit. It's very firm, but it's stunning quality. It's amazing. The other one that I have is the Marin, and that comes in several different configurations. I've got the sectional with the chaise on it, and oh my goodness, we absolutely love it. It is wonderful. The quality, the down that it has in it makes it so soft. The back cushions are removable, so we do have to fluff them because we tend to, you know, just lay all over them and really squish it. I showed you the sofa a couple weeks ago when I showed you how to really just give your room a quick start, so I'll leave a link for that video as well. I'm gonna have a whole bunch of stuff for you guys to check out, aren't I? But yeah, that sofa is amazing. We love it. The other sofa that I really love from West Elm and that I've sat on over and over, and I gravitate towards it every single time I walk into the store or into the outlet. I love the Harmony. I just love that Harmony sofa. I love it in the sofa, I love it in the sectional. I think the chairs are great. And that's what's fun too, is that a lot of times these collections, I think almost always, they all come where you could get matching chairs, or you could choose the chairs from one and a sofa from a different one, and you can mix and match. You've got a lot of options. So that's what I love about these collections, is they really make it pretty easy for you to make a good choice. This is what's so fun about all of this, is that getting to pull together your entire space, it should be fun. You can make some good decisions about it, and once you have your furniture, have some fun styling it up. It's just a blast. So I hope that today's video has been really helpful. I'm excited to drink my coffee and sit here for a little while on my own sofa. Just enjoy a bit. I've got a book waiting for me on the other side, and I just love this space. And I think that when you create a home that you just really love, you'll want to sit and linger, and you may want to go on vacation, run off to places like Mexico and beyond, but there's still just no place like home. So cheers, you guys. Don't forget to check out down below all the links for the PDFs and the other videos I've mentioned, and also make sure that you hit subscribe so you don't miss out, and give the video a thumbs up. See you guys in the next one. Bye.